Chroma. This man used to be so good way back in the day. He still technically is. It's just like other Warframes kind of outshine of what he can do. Game's audio is a bit too loud for me. Let me turn that down. But Chroma is just so versatile, and he's basically. I'm pretty sure he's the only frame I have diverse builds for, like different type of builds. This one is a standard flame build, so basically just more health and more just AoE damage than just overall tankiness and weapon damage. I'm gonna show my other three comas and those builds, but we're gonna start out with fire. Now we're gonna show off what I got for him. So Chroma is one of those frames where you want to build for high power strength and high duration. Everything else is a eh. You can have better efficiency and better range as well. You don't really gotta build range for him because Vex armor and damn, I can't even read that. Lord Jesus, elemental ward. Lord Jesus. These are like his best abilities right here. One gives you, depending on what status you choose to put on Chroma, he gives you just more health and damage, over like damage because he has an aura around him that does damage. It also gives you status chance. This is like his weakest. I'll say his weakest because normally you'll use heat if like since you just get more health. You could definitely make a tank build for this, mixing up with Vex armor. But ice does this way better. As you can see, ice it's all the way in the bottom. Cold gives you 200, like a shit ton of armor, depending on your power strength. It also gives you damage multiplier and status chance. So this is, you build if you want overall survivability, you build for this for cold. My personal favorite is electricity because the shield capacity is garbage, but it gives you status chance and a damage multiplier that's better than the cold one. And it also gives you a little aura that does electricity damage, so just you get passive CC as well. It's really good. Toxin I don't use. I think Toxin is actually one of the weakest ones, unless maybe if you're building for like a pure status weapon, and you like say you have a primer, and you really don't want to build for status chance, you could definitely use Toxin, way better. But right now is this we're gonna go over heat. Now this is the build for heat. I have Fire Blast as a general AoE fire damage build. Um, if you're new, like you just got Chroma and you don't have Chroma Prime, if you want to build like your own Chroma, don't worry about any of the augments. He really doesn't need it. This is just him. He could literally just work with his base everything. Uh, a bit more power strength and a bit more duration, and then you're fine. You don't gotta worry about the prime mods either, or any of the corrupted mods I have here. You could just build them for a general build. I don't have a general build right now. I would have showed one, um, but I don't. So we're just gonna go over it. So basically, get the energy. Now you're just gonna be doing this general damage with this. So we're just gonna spawn enemies, of course. We're gonna walk up to them. It's passive CC, but then armor strip. You can also activate your 4 if you really want to, but your 4 really doesn't do much. Most of the time you won't have your 4 on because it drains your energy. It's just cool to have for just extra damage, and this extra damage just have an extra piece of I want to say equipment, but just have another source of damage while you're just doing your main damage. Yeah, because his 4 doesn't do jack at all. But as you can see, relatively, it kills the enemies pretty good. Fire Blast is a really good armor strip. I just build him for general. This fire build is just generally just use Fire Blast. This is just the stuff I generally play. It's like the general build, but then you gotta swap over to ice, and then swap this to ice. Now ice is just generally for tankiness. Straight up just tank. You could definitely put on. I don't have a Helminth ability on here. But his 4, but his 4 is terrible because as you can see, it doesn't really do anything. It does a decent amount of damage, plus it gives you extra credits as well, and a speed increase, and but that's it. That's all it does. It doesn't really do anything else by itself, besides the credits, of course. Besides for the credits, if you're farming credits. But this is just generally a tank, so I might assume like Gloom on here, just so you can have like this health regen with it. But generally, I could just... As you can see, I don't take a lot of damage. It's generally really good for tanking. But, it's, as you can see, it's not a build that I really use a lot, since if I was actually going to use this, I would have put on, like, Gloom, just so you have some type of health regeneration, as you can see. But honestly, if you just want a tankiness that also gives you a decent amount of damage as well with Vex armor, you could definitely use ice. But I use electricity just for pure damage, as you're going to see in a bit. But this is just for pure tankiness. Let's just kill these enemies. It's not that good because I don't have any Sassoon abilities on there, and you could definitely make it way better for this build, which showcased what I got here. This is just for the survivability. Like I said, my Sassoon out the first ability. First ability is always you use Sassoon. It sucks. If you're a new player, you're gonna be stuck with it for a bit, but his other two abilities make up for that. So this is just generally for survivability, high duration, high strength. And then for electricity, for just pure DPS, because the that shit gives you a shit. Plus it stacks with Vex armor. So this is as high, like as high as a power strength as I could get it at, with pretty low duration and decent range for some reason. Why does this have range? I guess it's not base range. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's just base range. So this base range, really good for DPS. So we're just gonna go electricity. Also, this one does have a Sassoon ability. It is Terrify. Perfect. Not perfect. Why the enemies all spread out like that? There we go. So activate Vex. And you could Terrify. Yeah, generally really good. Generally really good. Let me actually show you the stat differences between all three of them. So, we could just do this the easy way. So with electricity, with the straight up procs, this gives me about a 27.3 times multiplier for damage, which is really good, way bigger than the cold one. And then Vex armor just gives me a shit, like a damage increase of 750 and an armor increase of 9,055, which is really good for it not being overall for tankiness. This is overall for DPS. Code just gives me about, I think it's just the same thing. It's just the biggest difference is your Vex armor, not Vex armor, elemental ward here. Big difference between electricity and cold is cold has a lower damage multiplier than electricity, but electricity doesn't have really tankiness to it. So it all depends on what you don't build for fire, because fire really doesn't give you much of anything besides more health. But that really doesn't do anything. It does give you a damage per second tick, which is pretty good depending on your range. Um, it's all right if you want to use fire, if you're fasting firming, because as you can tell, fasting framing with Chroma, it's kind of hard. Not really, because it used to be where the energy color would be what element what you'd be using, right? But it's now your emissive. But you have to really build around how you want your Chroma to look. And right now, as you can see, I just have them all in 3 different elements: ice, fire, and electricity. They all look alright. It's not too crazy. Not my best work. But as for the best, in my opinion, I don't want to concretely say it because in the comments there might be like, no, no, no. That's I don't care. Honestly, in my opinion, electricity is the best because it just gives you overall the most damage while also giving you a pretty decent amount of defense as well. Plus, electricity is alright. You know, it you get like enemies get stunned if they get hit by electricity, so it's really good for Chroma. Ice is just really good for overall tankiness. So if you just don't really care about damage all too much, depending on your weapon and depending on how high your power strength is, which relatively is going to be high regardless if you're going for ice. You just get a shit ton of fucking armor, and there's a shit ton of armor. As much, keep on forgetting how much I get here. 274 for for your elemental ward, and then you get another increase with Vex armor. You could, if you have Susum, like the Helminth, you could definitely. I'm using the wrong build, by the way. Here we go. Generally, you will assume his first ability with something like Gloom. Gloom is really good since it just goes, the more kills you get, the more HP like heal. I think Nourish will be pretty good on here as well. But yeah, look at that. That just gives me a shit ton of armor for Code. So definitely you want to make an overall tank build. Frost is the way to go. But if your overall DPS, in my opinion, is Electricity. Electricity is overall better for just pure damage. You could definitely assume a better ability than Terrify than what I have. I just have Terrify for the armor strip. It might be a little overkill because of the amount of damage you're already doing with high power strength and electricity. Um, you could definitely put like another survivability like Nourish. If you want even more damage than Nourish, so your weapons could do corrosive, then yeah. Is it corrosive or viral? I think it's viral actually. Um, but definitely Chroma is like one of the frames with like a lot of build variety. Normally people would just build them for one thing and that's it, but that's kind of boring. Like he's like pretty much the only Warframe that you could really build for like different type of shit, right? If you want overall higher survivability or even more damage or even more status procs, then yeah, he could do that for you. And he's really good. But the thing is like a lot of Warframes just do everything he could do, just better. It's the same thing with a lot of I keep on saying in my other videos. There's other Warframes that just make it less tedious to just keep Elemental Ward and Vex Armor on. Because for pure survivability, we have Warframes that are way better than that. For pure DPS, Warframes that are better than that. But Chroma is the only one that can actually has the best of both worlds. And you really don't have to assume anything out since Elemental Ward and Vex Armor by itself is already like really good. But definitely, Chroma's good. As for any like ideas to make him back in the like limelight, I guess to replace his first ability with something just like since he's boring to play basically. Since all you are doing is just using these two abilities, and if you have no subsumes, which if I want to show no subsumes, I could just yoink, go switch to ice real quick. No subsumes. His first ability sucks. I can actually showcase. I didn't want to showcase it, but might as well if any curious people out there. His first ability sucks. It does jack shit. If if you're using fire, then you can spread fire procs. I don't know why I'm doing fire here. Oh, that's because I had it activated. But yeah, you could just spread status with his first, I guess. Electricity. Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. It doesn't do jack at all. And plus, you can't do anything else while you're, like, you can't attack. Oh, you actually can attack. That's cool. You actually can't. You can use your melee while on here. But I think that's all. You know, of course you can move. But the first ability is just trash. It doesn't do a lot of damage. Maybe against trash mobs and basic star chart, but overall it's just garbage that you won't ever use it. This is a hindrance. But other than that, channel news now. the best part of the video. um, Channel has been growing nice and steadily. I'm kind of proud of it, and you're gaining subscribers. Views have been pretty good. Don't even know why. Like most of my content is just me talking about frames, and it's just weird, at least to me, because like normally, like the Warframe content I see is like way better than mine's. This is way more coherent and like less stuttering, and this like way more on board, right? So like most of other Warframe channels are like like scripted and actually well planned out. My shit is just like, oh, I'm gonna review this Warframe and just talk on my ass, right? Most of the time, the only time I actually like pre-planned a video, I think was Gauss, the Gauss video I made, and maybe Ash as well. But both of those videos weren't really scripted at all. None of my videos are. This is me talking to a mic and talking about Warframes. But other than that, like I said, channel has been really good. I'm kind of proud of that. It's been going up. Views have been pretty decent, and I'm like, yo, okay, this is pretty good. I like it. Um, Still struggling to find other Warframes to review. The only reason I'm reviewing Chroma is because I just had the urge to play him and like to build him, and I did. I did. I freaking assumed two abilities on him, and then modded. I actually modded three different chromas, which is funny because normally I just stick with one build for my frames. Always, whatever Warframe I'm using, once I make a mod set for them, I don't ever change at all. But as you can see, I have three sets of like different shit. Most of them are the same, besides more range. So they all are like diverse in their own way, and that's crazy because I don't do that. But Chroma's the only Warframe that actually makes me think about changing my build here and there depending on what I need. It's really cool. It's really cool that we have a frame like that. He's the elemental dragon, but he's just outshined by other Warframes. But other than that, thank you for watching. This one might be hella short, but I'm still working on it. I'm still working on other videos. Next video might be Colorful, but I am cooking on a weapon so I could use his abilities with. So let me cook with that. I'm trying to get it. It's the Kuva Heck I'm trying to get for it. I had a build idea because generally the Kuva Heck is like a one-shot, a single target weapon, but Colorful is able to spread damage to other enemies. So I want to test that out, but I don't have the Kuva Heck. I'm currently getting it right now. Kuva Liches are a bitch to grind, but I'm dragging this video out. Have a good one. See you on the next one.